Hello, everyone. This is Charlie in the podcast show. I have a very special guest in the show. He he's pretty amazing. He's currently a life coach. Before he worked in customer service, and he moved on to business development, and he was just doing that for 15 years. Then he decided to make the move to be a life coach. So tell me, tell me about yourself, your profession, your background, and what you have achieved.
Right. So my background, as you mentioned, I was in customer service, and
Right.
I moved into management, moved up the ranks there. I got into business development and project management,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually, so if you want to know about like my biggest accomplishment, I actually worked for a company. My last sort of corporate job, I worked with a company where I actually made their risk analysis department, their fraud department from the ground up. So I made the processes, and I trained the team, hired the people, did all that fun stuff. And after that, I did do ad hoc business development planning, strategizing with clients, things like that. It was almost like coaching, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, I made a big move with my family because we were in Central America, and then we moved back to North America, back to Canada, 2 years ago. And the whole reason was I wanted to spend more time with them and not, be working all the time. So I started out and just said, okay, well, I can do business development and, life coaching, and I focus on procrastination and burnout. So I help people, move forward if they feel a little bit stuck in their life, or I help people. Um, I really enjoy working with what I call the dreamers. So the dreamers are a subcategory of procrastinators where, they have these big plans and these big ideas, but often they get either overwhelmed in the details or they don't know where to start. So I get most of my joy from helping those people actually build something that they've been planning to build.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I my yeah I my profession is I pretty much am I do the and analyzing and comparing things. So it's very fun, but also what's great what I'm doing is that I am learning new skills and just growing as a leader. But yeah, I totally agree what you said. I believe that really spending time with family and friends is way crucial. So yeah, you're definitely on the right track. So yeah, honestly, it's the fact is that you have to really spend time with family and friends because someday they're they might just be gone at some point, and you might not you might not really spend time with them.
No,
So
you're right in that. It's happened, happened to me. We always think that we have more time than we actually do, right? So every chance you
right.
get, every chance you get, just be with your family and your friends and the people that matter to you.
Yeah, yeah, my I was talking to my dad in the car, and I was just telling him I was telling him some questions and things to talk about together. and just he just talked about what he really enjoys with me and what you could remember. So he said that if he said when I was born, he said that I was the first person I looked at him, and he says what's interesting is he said that when I looked at him, I really smiled. Like I didn't cry because you know that most babies do cry when they looked at that first person, but I guess for me, I just start laughing for some reason. It's I it seems that I don't know if you could call it God or the universe chose me or whatever, but but it just kind of shows that I'm just special or something. Someone that really has that enjoyment even in hardships. It seems that person is very special and most people need that person.
Oh no,
So,
there's no doubt about that.
mhm,
You do need to be you need to keep your joy even in, as you said, even in hardship, and that's really what makes the world go round, right? Is
right.
just being happy and making other people happy. I mean, there is really no other higher purpose than joy.
Yeah, yeah, I've literally been through a lot. So I recently graduated high school a couple years ago, and ever since before or after, it was still hard for me because when I was young, I would, and I still remember to this day, I remember that I would run around on the field. This is I think in elementary school. And so I would just stand around in the field, the grassy field, and I would be around with other kids near my age that would play with other kids, and I was just all alone. And I didn't have anyone to play with. I was just walking around like a Dumbo or something. It's yeah, it's yeah, it and to this day I it's still the case. But
What did you enjoy doing in during that time in school or after school? What did you do after school though?
well, I believe what really what was memorable is I believe what was memorable is probably my friend, my best friend. Now, there might have been some moments where I probably in school I played sports, get involved in that, play with other kids, students that were playing baseball, football, wrestling, track, and that's what the school has. So I got involved in those, and there was some good moments. Maybe maybe some fun, just getting out and about, just being with the people around you. But what was more memorable is just spending time with the friends that are your closest friends. Because I remember that we would just we would just kind of just mess around together, just being little, and then we would just play some games together, and just some really fun times. And I just into this, and honestly, it just that's got to be I always really think to that I kind of want that back, you know. And I just always thinking about that, but
Yeah, that's
yeah,
the that's nostalgia, what they call nostalgia, right? We kind of
yeah,
yearn for the way things used to be. But
mm,
you know what though? It's life is a funny thing, right? So nothing is permanent, right? So we always
right,
just have to, enjoy what's there while it's there, because
mm-hmm,
as everything came from nothing, everything one day must return to, well, nothing. So it just teaches us, right? It's a lesson to really be grateful for everyone we have in our life, and for the good times that we had. But I mean, there's no reason that you couldn't still do some of those activities, right? I mean, you still have
mm-hmm.
contact with those friends.
Well, my friend currently, we we are still connected, and I do have his contact info, but he's going to be gone pretty soon. He's gonna pursue in the Air Force.
Hmm, okay.
Yeah. So so I might not be able to see him for a while. Maybe I'll see him maybe once or twice a week. Twice I mean once or twice a year. But he's gonna be gone for about 4 years, and
Hmm.
then we're gonna get back together, and we're gonna plan together, and
Yeah. Well, 4 years is a long time, but I
yeah,
mean, you'll still talk to him, right? I mean, you have text or Facebook, or
yeah,
you can stay in touch, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm able to not just call him, but just message him, and maybe message him on their social media. Yeah, I I I believe that I believe that we have I believe we have different pathways,
Hmm.
what we believe or what we want to be at. So we we don't really have we don't really think the same way of what we want to achieve. So for me, I want to I want to just not just grow a business, but just work with anyone with the same mindset as mine.
Hmm.
So I could be working with other business leaders, professionals, or just clients, giving them service, selling them or teaching them, and they would give us something back. Now, now on the other hand, for my friend, he prefers to he prefers the other way. So he wants to try to earn money.
Hmm.
And I mean I get it. We live in a world where money is crucial, but you have to really do something that you really enjoy instead of going after it, because money is just I mean it solves problems, but at the long term in life, it doesn't matter.
No,
It's
you're right about that. I mean, I'm guilty of that. I spent a lot of hours working. Like when I first started, I was probably working, 12, 18-hour days, 5 or 6 days a week, right? Chasing that almighty dollar. And in the end, it almost cost me my family. It's part of the reason that I wanted to pull back. I wanted to move, get a change of scenery, reconnect with my family, because a lot of times, society says that we need to chase the almighty dollar. We need a huge house. We need a nice car. We need, we need, and no, we don't.
Nope.
We need a roof over our heads, and we need people who love us, and that's what we need.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. My plan is. I just. Oh, I just heard a sound. So my plan is once I get that successful, once I'm wealthy, I'm going to share my wealth.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I'm going to share what I have and just really give people so much that they need. So I know that that there's you might have other people around, like parents or friends, family and friends that might not have the things of what they need. So they you might just consider getting what they want. So
Mhm.
so for example, my mom and her boyfriend too, they both want a boathouse. And because they don't have to worry about mowing the lawn or doing maintenance. So so all they need to do is maybe do some maintenance on the boat, but not so much. If they're just gonna just stay in it and stay in it and it doesn't move, then they don't need to do a lot. They
No,
got their
that's true.
yeah, they got they got their they got their place that they don't have to worry about mortgages, no all that crap stuff that a lot of people have to deal with.
No, that's
So
true. And then if you want to go somewhere, you just cut the cord and you float away, right? So I mean, it's a lot of freedom. It's kind of like an RV, but it's different because I don't know, being on the ocean is really calming for a lot of people, or being around water just in general.
mhm,
It has a real calming effect. So that's good. It's good that they can do that because not everybody can. It's
right,
like in my case, I don't swim, I get seasick, so houseboat's probably not in my future, but I like the idea of it, and it brings me a lot of joy when I actually walk out down the pier with my family. We look at the sunset on the water and stuff, and it looks really nice and peaceful, and you see the boats there, and people are laughing and eating dinner and stuff, and it looks like a good time.
yeah, yeah. I believe that I think us human beings, we're all different. So we have different opinions. We might think different. So and also that's also the same thing as our abilities. So we're kind of a you could say unique superhero or something.
No, yeah, I mean everybody,
So
everybody's different. Everybody's got their unique abilities.
uh-huh,
Everybody's got a purpose. Sometimes we get lost in that though. Sometimes we think that we have to do something, and really, I
right,
mean, we don't really need to do it. I mean, we're human beings, not human doings. So,
right,
sometimes we just need to, remember that just being is enough too.
right. Yeah, humans humans are not really capable of doing ongoing work. There's also rest. So you have to make sure that you rest your you have to rest your body physically and mentally. And if you work a lot, then it's gonna wear you out. And a lot of people don't like that.
Well, no,
So
Yeah, it leads to what they call burnout, right? So you
Right.
work too long, you get tired, you get angry, you get everything bothers you. I went through that, working those 18-hour days. I got off and then, my wife wanted to say something to me or my daughter and I just didn't want to deal with anybody anymore, right? And it's I think back on it and it makes me sad because it shouldn't be that way. I forgive myself for feeling that way because I was working and for a lot of people that suffer that, right? I mean, it's the same. They feel guilty because they're not with their family, but then when they go to their family, it's like, well, I don't want to be with you either, right? So because I'm tired and I don't have any energy left. And
Yeah.
it's this balance, right? You just have to really understand where you are putting your energy, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is that if you have if you have thoughts or just things in your head, because we get thoughts in our heads that might bother us, and you just honestly just what you have to do is if you want to try to reduce the a lot of these bad thoughts, and it could also be if you're in pain, then you just sit down in somewhere where you're not bothered. So a good example is I've I worked at Papa Murphy's, and I would I would wash the dishes, and I would wash the totes, those big containers. So I would wash those, including the lids of the totes, the 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 little totes too, and the lids to them, and just other dishes. So I would I would also have to stack them to make sure that water is dripping down so they can dry. So when I stacked them, all of a sudden the totes the totes fall and they land on my back. And I gotta say, that gave me that was devastating. It actually gave me so much pain, and one of the employees said, "Oh, are you okay? Are you okay?" And I said, "Yep, yep, I'm all right." But I just didn't want to complain, so I just kept the that that you could say self pain in me, so I can not try to yell and try to be a maniac. So, and I would start to cry, and I would get tears from my eyes, and I would just feel like I need to go sit down. So I would go into my manager's office, sit down, and just very rest for a moment. Just yeah. So yeah, that's a really good example. But if you're in a if anything hurts you, whether physically or mentally, like I've gotten hurt physically from the totes throwing me on the back, just just sit down and rest. Just try to try to try to keep yourself in a rest your mind, be in a peaceful thought, and just make sure you regenerate your health, and then just get back doing the work.
Yeah, no, breaks are
So,
very important.
mm-hmm,
That you always have to have breaks because I mean, if you get tired, you can't be very effective in your job,
right,
and more accidents could happen. I'm sorry to hear that those fell on you. I mean, that sounds really bad. You didn't, I mean, your boss eventually didn't say anything about that, or
Well, I can't remember if my boss was there at that time. I believe my manager, my boss was working at the front, or was was on a PTO or pay time off day.
Mhm.
So can't remember, but but no but no employees or anyone was concerned. They just went on their day, just working. But the but really the point to what I was saying is breaks are good, but when I said that I was in self pain and I felt like I need to yell or something, just just keep yourself quiet, because and try to not be maniacs, because if you do that, people are just not going to care what you're going to say.
Mm.
So I mean, maybe just for some individuals, but if that's the case, just I mean, it is good to maybe. All right, we're not out of time. It is good to maybe explain it. The people that you really trust, that's important. But the people that you don't trust and they can't relate to you, just keep your mouth shut. And because if you try to complain and whine to them, they're just not going to care. So
Well, I mean, that is true. That is true to an extent. Um, but it is important that I still think it's important to communicate to people when you feel hurt. I mean, sure, they may not care, and I understand where you're coming from, but I mean, as human beings, I mean, if we don't, it's not complaining, it's not whining,
mhm.
it's just, just explaining to people, just say, hey, this happened. I need to go take a break for a bit. Or, I fell down and, you laugh it off, right? I fell down, but,
Mhm.
then you're limping the rest of the day. And, I don't think I don't think it's really needed to do that, to close ourselves off like that. I mean, no,
Mhm.
we don't want to go around yelling like maniacs, but just say, hey, I fell down, my leg kind of hurts a little bit, I'm gonna go take a rest, or hey, I hurt my leg, can you help me with this? It's not complaining, but you also have to take care of yourself, and likewise, if you see somebody else, then you should help take care of them too.
Yeah, that's understandable. Communication is definitely very crucial. It it honestly is a great way to keep everyone together, and and it's always crucial in any situation, whether you're working on a project, or you need to report someone, or just updates on what's going on in the organization. So yeah, communication is definitely very crucial. And to this day, since technology has really improved, we're able to we're able to do virtual meetings or do emails if we are if we are distanced from each other. So maybe we're maybe you're in another country and I'm or maybe another state. So 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 maybe I am in currently I am in Washington State and you're somewhere in the east side of the United States, you know. So it's so even if we don't try to we can't meet in person, then having those having those tools is pretty helpful.
Oh no, for sure.
Yeah,
The only thing that we have to be careful with technology is that we don't dehumanize people. Uh,
right.
I mean, we're really connected, but when you talk to somebody over text or just over phone, well, Zoom meetings is a little better, but when you talk to
Hmm.
somebody over text, sometimes you can forget their feelings or forget that they're human.
Right,
And we can't do that. We have to keep the human connection, even if we are talking to each other and over
right.
technology.
Yeah, it's it seems to really be the case because there's been a lot of people really complain about social media and just how bad it is because there's a lot of really bad influencers that really just try to act that character, but once the camera is off, you don't know what they're gonna do after that. So that could be the same thing as texting. So you can't really tell that person behind that number.
No, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. So it's I that's why I want to try to spend time with the people outside when we do activities or do projects. So a good example is I would I would work with I would work with I would work with this guy that is my mentor. So he 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 wanted me to work on his garden and he wanted to like mow the lawn, pick up the cut grass and put it in a pit and work on the garden to to put good soil and to plant new plants. And I recently just done that last week. So, but yeah, always good to mow the. It's always good to go outside and just do activities with people because it just in person is always probably the best.
Well,
So
nature connects us back to our sources,
yeah,
back to the universe and things, and grounding. Take your shoes off, stand in the grass for 5-10 minutes a day. It actually helps you regulate your emotions and your energy levels and everything like that too.
yeah, yeah, Nate. Yeah, I I honestly I honestly do believe that nature has always been a key a key way in life because without nature we probably wouldn't survive. I mean, look at the agriculture. Look at all the foods we consume.
Hmm.
Those were grown by farmers, and these farmers are working outside, growing them, just being part of nature. So yeah, it's yeah. A lot of people really they don't really they don't really talk about that, and they always try they always think that they think they're in a fantasy world, but
Hmm.
reality they're just being they're getting the food that's from those people that grew them. And if you think about it, without those farmers, we wouldn't survive.
No, that is very true. Without the
And
we not survive.
yeah, and to this day, a lot of people don't have gardens. So,
It's true.
as well, I guess in the big cities, but
Mm.
you know, yeah. So, all right, I'm going to be ending this recording. So, thank you everyone for listening. And if you want to tune in, please give it a like and subscribe. And I will be posting more of more of these great open-minded people like Christopher. So, all right. Thank you so much, everyone, and you have a wonderful day. Is there anything you like to say last?
No, just thanks for having me on the show, and yeah.
Cool. All right. See you everyone later.